I think this is going to be a new stage in my career. Although I am quite young, I have done many years of motor racing. Not so many in Formula One, only 4 years in Formula One, but before Formula One, a lot of years of my life have been involved with motor racing, starting with go-karts. And now, in '89, in '88, with McLaren Honda, it's going to be a new stage of my career where I still should learn a lot in the new team. I will have to adjust, I'll have to get used with the new system, the new structure of a new team, new people, a new car, new regulation for engines, many new things, and I have to concentrate very much to get adjusted with this new situation as quick as possible. So hopefully right from the beginning of the racing season, which should start in Brazil, I hope to be well used with the new system and therefore start with good results right from the beginning. I think McLaren, it's a very professional team, and they have proved over the past few years that they have been very successful. They have had two top drivers most of the time working together, and they've been capable of giving both drivers the same possibility technically to have good results. They have, of course, in Alain Prost, one of the best, if not the best driver in Formula One, very successful. And of course, for me to arrive in a new team as a newcomer, to work together with a twice world champion, so successful driver, it's going to be a big challenge to be able to work together and therefore add power, joint power, myself and himself, to make the team even stronger, develop the equipment, the chassis and the engine better, because working together we can make it quicker development. And when we are then on a race day, when the car is on the circuit and we are there, of course it's going to be very hard to compete together, because for me he's one of the best, he's used with the team, and I will have to learn a lot and get used with everything. The only thing that I have as a positive point is that I know already how Honda people work. I know already quite a bit about the engine, and that is going to help me, I think. But it's going to be a very competitive year for me. Like a new marriage between Honda and McLaren, to the working relationship between the engineers from both places, from McLaren and Honda, the new project of the new car with the Honda power, to put everything together and working, not only quick car, but also consistent, reliable. It's normal that it takes some time. What I believe is most important is to have a good project from the beginning, that has the right design, the right building technique, and therefore it will be developed with the time, and it will be competitive and more competitive all the time. And I agree that it's normal that at the beginning you have some problems. The question is how long it will take for everything to be working perfect, or nearly as perfect. And I have a great confidence that both Honda and McLaren will produce the right equipment to achieve success at the time necessary. I think to win not only 1 or 2 races in a year, but consistent, to have success consistent, that then gives you a championship. It is necessary to have a good understanding between everybody working on the same project, and that means the engine manufacturer, the chassis manufacturer, the drivers, the engineers, the management, everything has to work together. So once you have such a situation of a mutual understanding and a mutual consensus, same thinking from behind, the same policy, on top of that, the personal individual value also, you then have the ingredients for success. And I agree. I think it's going to be difficult at the beginning until everybody learns how to work together in the new setup. But I believe that the ingredients are all there, available. It's a question of time and how everything will be put together. Before I start working with Honda, when I was already at Lotus, I, of course, follow very close the development of the Honda involvement in Formula One and the commitment that they have from behind and the success that they achieve. And of course, I start to get more and more interest to know about the Honda way of doing Formula One. And eventually I realized it was a very important thing to, if possible, be part of it. And since I had the opportunity to start a working relationship, I learned a lot about not only motor racing, but a lot about the commitment from behind, the commitment of the people involved in a program, the way of thinking, the wish of success. And since then I have developed a kind of relationship where I have great confidence on their decisions, on their commitments, because I know they will always come up with something as good as the best, at least, if not the best. And I believe it's a bit embarrassing to say that in Japan, you know, in front of Mr. Sakurai, but it is a true feeling that I believe very much in Honda commitment and in Honda judgment. So next year we'll have a 2.5 bar engine, and I'm sure when the time is necessary, if it's necessary a change, we'll have also a normal aspirate engine. So it is something that I'm not concerned. It's something that you forget. So you are able to concentrate on other things, to do better in other areas. And that's very important. At the same time, when I said it was necessary for me a change in the team side, going to McLaren, is because I feel the same towards to McLaren. Although I have not started close working basis, but I got into a feeling, a conclusion that McLaren has a similar thinking and a similar attitude. And you got to work on today Formula One racing. You got to have the ability to believe totally in the people that you are working together. So that means in the Honda supplier power, in the chassis engineers design, in the team structure, and if you are able to feel that you have a big support from behind, then of course you'll be able to produce a better performance. That is not only on the practical side, but also on the mental side. And that's why I am very confident about the future. I am really sure it's a question of time, only a question of time. And since I'm driving with Honda, I don't remember of having had an engine failure, not in one single race. When I had one, it was not the engine failure, it was a car failure that produced an engine failure. And until then, when I was driving for other teams, other manufacturers, engine was something always worry in the race. And since I had the opportunity to drive with this peace of mind regarding the engine, it's so much easy for you. You can push harder, you can try harder without thinking or without having in your mind maybe the engine is going to have a problem. And that is very, very important. To me, Formula One racing or Formula One car, it's a very sophisticated machine that produces very high speeds. And when you are driving on the personal side, let's say, you have a very great excitement with the feeling that you are going very fast, with the feeling that you are going close to the limits. That means not only maximum speed in a straight line, but high speed in a corner or a late braking maneuver where you feel you are close to the limit of losing control and maybe having an accident. So every time you are close to those limits, the excitement increases and your heart goes quicker and your breath goes stronger, and it is all the time very important that you keep self-control, not only when you're driving on your own, so you are just trying to go a little quicker and quicker and quicker, to not exceed those limits because sometime if you exceed one of those limits, it could mean a big accident, could mean a big injury or your life. On the other hand, when you are driving together somebody, you are fighting for a position, then is even more important to keep self-control, because sometimes you have some very close fights, sometimes you could get angry with the other driver, and then you could take action outside of your reason, just by your heart, and that could mean also a bad result, a bad injury or a bad accident. So there are two ways of doing it. One is by your heart, and one is a combination of your heart and your brain, you know. And of course, the one that gives you more enjoyment, more excitement is by your heart, because that means just doing it by your feeling, just natural feeling. And the other one, when you use your reason, your thinking, then thousands of things go in your mind while you're driving. For instance, the responsibility you have at that moment with all team members, all sponsors, everybody involved, direct or indirect, behind you. So when you think about all that, it takes a lot of the pleasure away, because the responsibility being big, the tension builds up a lot, and the pleasure decrease. But this is a profession, and so you have to learn how to make a combination of your profession and your pleasure, because I also believe you can only perform as a racing driver if first of all you have pleasure. That's the most important thing, because that will give you motivation for being away from your home most of your time, being away from your family, from your friends, from your country most of your time, being in hotels, restaurants, airplanes, airports for most of the year. And when you do it, when you travel once a year, few days for pleasure, is enjoyable. But when you travel consistent every week, sometimes twice, 3 times a week, different countries, different places, it becomes very heavy. It becomes tiring. So the life of a racing driver has the glorious side, the excitement, the financial side, but has another hard side, which is your life, risk of your life, risk of your health, the penalty of traveling a lot, being away from the people you love to be together, away from your country. And so the only proper motivation for you to keep hard work, concentration, and good performance, I think, is enjoyment of driving. So you have to find a compromise between the profession and the heart driving to make a balance for your profession, for your performance, for your life. If I enjoy? Not always. Not always. As I was describing, there are moments that is very difficult to keep your mind cool, keep your feeling clear and positive, because it's a big fight all the time. But generally, of course, I enjoy. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing it. I think is, when I look back my career, when I used to do, for instance, go-karting, just for fun, as my hobby, I was very hard driving and little head driving. And I had success. I had good success. But I learned during the years that I was doing, in many occasions where I had some mechanical failures or accidents, that was due because I was trying too hard, driving too hard with my heart. So maybe it was very exciting, spectacular, but in the final result, consistent was not the best. And so of course I try to learn from every mistake I make, from every wrong decision I make, to not allow it to happen again. And that is what I call experience, that I have had a great opportunity to start from very young and doing it every weekend, every month, every year, during several years. I had a good opportunity of learning it on the practical side. Since I come to Formula One, as a newcomer, it was difficult to keep control, self-control, to not exceed those limitations, because deep inside I believe I am very strong in a way of driving. I mean, I want always to go faster. That's my nature. That's what I call nature. Even with experience and learning everything, you have a nature. And my nature is always a big fight, trying harder, trying to go faster, trying to be winner, and quicker. So I know that this is my natural characteristic. And knowing that, I try with the reason to control that and to improve that side, in order that in a long term, I know that I will get a better achievements if I control it. So I know I have a big natural feeling for driving, but today I believe, I also know that this is not enough. If you have that natural feeling, you need a very strong control, very, very clear mind on top of it. So you can develop. And since I come to Formula One, to start, I was very anxious to do well as quick as possible, to win as soon as possible. And it was very hard to control myself. Very, very hard to control, but just try. You still make mistakes. Sometimes you still exceed, but on the other hand, even if you try to be perfect, nobody's perfect. And you can only try hard to learn from your own mistakes, and to learn by looking other people doing it as well. And that's what I call concentration. And I think I try very hard, very, very hard on the concentration side, to understand as best as possible all the situations that present to me in different occasions, different circuits, different cars, different conditions, everything. It's so important for me to be able to read out the situation as it presents to me, in order that I have a quick reaction, but a correct reaction for it. And in '87, for instance, I knew I didn't have a car to start a race and determine the pace. of the race and then to win. I realized that from the beginning. And as I realized that, I had to control very much myself, for instance, in many occasions at the beginning of some races, to not push very hard, because I would lose performance from the car, from the whole race. So I had to wait, leave the other cars, go a bit ahead, and wait for the right moment of technical conditions of my car to push harder and try to come back and fight. And this is very hard. When you have the machine in your hand and you have the possibility of increasing your power on your dashboard, or you have the possibility of pushing harder the throttle or braking later, it's difficult to control. It's difficult to have all that and leave it for later. Yeah. You understand? Because it's there. And when somebody is pushing you from behind and you are under pressure, the normal reaction is to try immediately to go away. Or when somebody is ahead of you and is going away, the immediate reaction is to try to follow it. But many times if you do it, you will damage your equipment during the whole race distance. So you have to learn how to control and how to keep the equipment in the best condition as possible for the whole race. Sometimes means saving it a lot at one stage because it would be very expensive. And then later, when the conditions are the best, taking out everything you have from the car to make a good performance. So it is difficult to keep self-control and self-level. It is very difficult. Okay, a Grand Prix driver has great interest, especially women. A lot of interest about the Grand Prix driver, the personal side. And so I suppose you could have lots of opportunities to meet new people, especially women. The problem is that those situations especially happen over a race weekend. And over a race weekend, there is not much time left because you go to the circuit early in the morning, you drive and you work and you are very tense, so you get very tired. You come back to the hotel only 6, 7 o'clock in the evening, sometimes 8 o'clock in the evening, and you are very tired. And your mental feeling, mental attitude is very committed to the racing, to your following day and to the Sunday. So you don't have a proper mind to think about women. You understand? And therefore it becomes very hard to, let's say, get to know new people and to be together with new people because there's no time. And when there is a little time, your mind is also not in the best frame. I think if you are a professional driver, if you are really committed with your professional, with your team, with the people that are working for you, because you have always to take in consideration that after you leave the circuit 7 o'clock in the evening, for instance, most of the races, your mechanics, your engineers still stay there, working your car, preparing your car for the next day. And many times they work until midnight. Many times they work the whole night. So it's a great sense of responsibility you have. And if you go out with the girl and you make love with the girl during the night, and the following day, okay, you wake up, you go to the circuit, you can drive. But I don't think you'll be driving 100%. because you will not be relaxed physically. You will not have a proper rest, and you will not perform as you should, at least at the same level of commitment of the people that are working with you. And I consider that very important, to correspond with the people that I'm working at the same level. So, okay, it helps when you are outside of a racing environment. So, for instance, for me, especially when I'm in Brazil, when I go back to Brazil between tests or races, or at the end of year, I have no racing to do, no testing, so I have time. So I have my mind open for any hobby, anything, for any activity, and I have also the time. So if it's necessary, I can go through the whole night without sleeping. It's no problem, because the following day I can sleep. Okay, or even if I cannot sleep, if I'm tired, I'm not driving a racing car, or I'm not doing anything. Well, before I start working together in '87, for instance, I have been in Japan in '78 to race in go-kart. And to give example, I was using Italian equipment, but Japanese tires, Bridgestone tires. And I did the World Championship race and then came to Japan to do a Grand Prix in Japan with go-kart. And I could not understand the Japanese way. Okay, I was only 18 years old. I was just starting to go out of Brazil, but I could not quite understand the reaction, the attitude on that experience I had. In that case, with the tires that I used from Bridgestone, so I had some relationship with Bridgestone people. And so I came to Japan, and I was here 1 week, and I went back then, and I could never understand very well. Then my next contact, closer contact with Japanese people, Japanese mentality, start with Honda. And that was end of '85, but very small contact. I really start a more closer contact in '86. And the attitude I had right from the beginning, end of '85 and beginning '86, when I met different people, when I have been many meetings, different places, many occasions I was on my own, and I had 4, 5 Honda members, all of them older than I am, so of course with much more experience in life than I have. My attitude, my thinking was, first, I believed it was a very positive and important step as a professional to start a relationship, and to start it correct, in a positive way, in a good manner. So during those meetings, those contacts, the only way I believe I could establish a proper relationship was by being exactly what I am. from of course, using the reason, but using the heart. Okay, and acting that way, I think I had a fortune situation to develop a fantastic relationship, a good understanding, and a great confidence on the relationship and with the people that I was talking and working together. And I think I met the right people. I was fortunate to meet the right people. I could have met not so good people, because in this world, unfortunately, it's a hard world. But I was very fortunate to have the right attitude, the right mentality with the right people. And therefore, I developed a fantastic understanding, even with the difference of language, the difference of I am Latin American, completely away from Japan, opposite. When Japan is midnight, Brazil is midday. So exactly at the opposite side of the world. I had everything work well. And there is no explanation apart from that. Everything went in a natural way, with one thinking from behind, of course, always. Very consistent thinking from behind was always to be correct, professional, and looking for success. So I had more or less established for myself those three directions, those three ingredients. And from these three ingredients, I work away from there. And whether it's a similar way of Japanese thinking or not, I believe it was just a coincidence. You understand? No. My life dream is to enjoy what I'm doing, is to, of course, win the championship. Not once, but as long as I am driving, is to always maintain a high professional level of working, and always have the respect of the people that are direct or indirect involved with me. And on the personal life, of course, is to find the special woman that I was talking before, to partner my life, my professional life, my private life, and have a good life in a wedding, in a marriage, with children, and continue having the extraordinary relationship I have with my family, right from young, forever, and be healthy and positive about life until it lasts. Thank you. I'm sure it's going to be a new challenge for Honda to win again with McLaren, and from the experience I had with Honda so far, the relationship established with all members, all team members from Honda, all engineers, mechanics, I have developed a great admiration for their way of doing things, their behavior, their attitude, their commitment, and their wish for success. It's something very special, and I'm sure it will continue in this new project with McLaren. And I'm very proud, in a way, to be part of it.
We want to make new history together.
Yes, I think it's going to be. It is a big challenge, but I think it's possible, and I think we are going to work for that very hard. Okay, thank you, Sakurai. I always been very close to my family, and I always lived in Brazil, in São Paulo. I was born in São Paulo, big city. Not like Tokyo, but very big city. And always had a good life, being involved with lots of sports, lots of activities. And I already start getting involved with the motor racing by 4 years old, the age of 4 years old, when my father had an engineering manufacturer, and he built a go-kart for me, and gave me to try and see if I like, if I enjoy or not. And since then I always been somehow involved already with motor racing as a hobby, just for fun. Over weekends going to special places close, so I could just go round and round. No competition, just go round, just practicing. And life has always been very good for me. Well, no, he only had this dream, his thinking about when he would have a boy, he would make a small go-kart. And before me came a girl, my sister, then myself, and then he did the go-kart as he had thought before. And just as a hobby, just for fun.
I see.
There was no intention at that stage whatsoever to get involved in any heavy competitions or anything. It was just a hobby. And of course at that stage it was too early. I was only 4 or 5 years old, so there was no intention at all. He was only doing something that he wanted for fun. And I enjoyed. I like. And I then dedicate more and more my time, and he support me. He always gave me enough support to carry on learning all the time, and we just carry on. I only could drive in official competitions with 13 years old. That was the minimum age for young people to start competitions. So although I used to practice a lot since 4 years old, almost every weekend, every Sunday afternoon I used to go.
In a go-kart circuit?
Different places. Different places. So only with 13 years old I could start officially. And I started at Interlagos, just beside the big racing circuit where Formula 1 used to race. There is a go-kart circuit, and I started there. It was the 1st of July, 73. I remember. It was a great desire I had to start it. I was very happy to start competition because I already wanted before 13 years old to start, but I could not. So it was a good time I had, and I did to start 2 races. First July, and then 2 weeks later another one. And in July is winter time in Brazil, so they call it a cup, winter cup. You know, only 2 races. And I won the first race, and I was second at the second race. But overall, I won the cup. So it was a good start. Well, from then on, I just carry on driving more and more and competing every weekend in different places, not only São Paulo, but going outside São Paulo, 100 kilometers outside São Paulo in another town, 200, 300 kilometers, many circuits. In Brazil, we had already at that time, 15 years ago, 10 years ago, lots of circuits, and we were having more and more circuits being built. So, as I enjoy very much, and my father too, he used to take me to all these races, these new courses, and we just carry on competing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I used to race every weekend almost, and during the week I used to go testing. I like to test.
Mm-hmm.
So during the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, I used to go to the circuit at Interlagos
Mm-hmm.
and just spend afternoon there, just going around and testing, changing engine, trying different carburetor, different exhaust, different tires, different chassis, just learning, researching and learning.
With the engineer?
No, myself, my father, and somebody to help
Oh,
me to
I see.
put together and try and everything. Because go-kart is not so complicated. And because we start so early, I had the opportunity to learn a lot,
Yes.
and I could do lots of things by myself. And I enjoyed doing things and testing, trying, stopping, making a change, testing again, and spending a whole afternoon like this. I enjoy very much. I did go-kart racing for 10 years. No. 10 years.
10 years.
From 13 years old to 23.
23?
Yes.
Oh.
On 81, when I was 21 years old, I decided to go to England to start motor racing as a professional. And I started racing Formula Ford 1600. But I still compete in go-karts at the same time in Europe.
Yes.
Not in Brazil anymore, just in Europe. And I used to drive for an Italian factory, go-kart Italian factory, works driver. And at the same time, drive for an English factory for Formula Ford in the English Championship. And so I did go-kart and Formula Ford, 81, and then 82 Formula Super Ford and go-kart. And 83 I stopped go-kart. I only did Formula 3.
Yes.
And then 84 Formula 1, 85.
Yes.
Yes, when I was in Brazil, I used to do go-karts as my hobby, as my fun. And I had also school to make. So I was never a brilliant student, but I was okay. I did well. I never had to repeat the same stage. And I studied until 19 years old, when I got into the university. But as I got into university of business and management, I decided to stop and dedicate full time to motor racing. So it was a difficult decision in my life because I had two roads to take then. I got into a stage I had to choose. And it was difficult to choose motor racing, stop studying. My parents did not want me to go motor racing. They only want me to do as a hobby, for fun, go-karts, not to change for racing cars and make it professionally. So it was a difficult time, but I guess it was a good one, good decision.
Yeah.
Mathematics not so bad. Language not so bad. History not so good, or physics not so good. Nothing special. I was I did study because I knew was necessary to learn and to improve myself, educate myself, but I never really enjoy studying. I always enjoy was driving. Because I did so many competitions, so many races. I was still very young, 17, 18 years old, but I had already the opportunity of competing in many different events, different circuits, different categories in go-karts, and for a relatively long time. So I was young, full of power to go on, but also a good experience. So I wanted to try to drive a racing car to see if I could drive it well. And I thought the best way of doing it was in Europe, because in Brazil was not possible to have good equipment. Racing car. Go-kart was okay, but not racing car. So then I decided to go to England. And I want to try. I want to try to compete also in racing cars and be successful. Because I had done in go-karts, so I want to try this new challenge. And I'm very happy I did.
And come to England.
Yes.
Wait, when, what age?
I was 20.
20.
20.
I see. And it's the first time to come to Europe?
No, I come to Europe three times before to do go-kart racing.
Ah, I see. So, but at that time you did not speak English so well also?
Difficult.
Difficult.
Difficult. The beginning was difficult to understand people talking, more even difficult to speak, especially technical terms. But after 2-3 months, start to go a little bit easier, and always learning. So I was okay. No, when I came to England, I came to drive to a works team, a factory, and I came to do it, only that. So I dedicate my full time to that. Every day I was in the factory. The factory was based just in front of the circuit, Saturn circuit, in north of England. So I used to spend all my time between the factory and the circuit, and used to test a lot to develop the car for the factory. And I did it all by myself and with the factory people that I got to know and work together.
How was the result of Formula Ford?
It was very good. I did 18 races, and I won 12 or 13. And my third race I won already.
I see.
And then after the third race, many
So
victories.
in that time you thought you had a good ability about racing in the international field.
Yeah, I realized it was possible to be successful. It was still too early to judge because it was only my first step in motor racing. But it was possible.
Yeah.
It's hard work and lots of dedication and timing, spending, but it was possible. 81 Formula Ford, 82 Formula Super Ford, and 83 Formula 3.
Formula 3.
Then 84 I started Formula 1
I see.
with Toleman. Now it's Benetton. At that time was Toleman team.
Yes.
And then 85, 86, 87 with Lotus,
Yes.
and 88 with McLaren. Yes, I remember coincidence was my first race in Brazil, because the first race of the calendar is in Brazil, and I never race cars in Brazil. So my first race in Formula 1 was my first race in Brazil, in a car, in a racing car. And as usual, was very hot. Brazil is always hot.
Yes.
And my race was very short. I did only maybe 10 laps or so, and I had an engine problem, so I stopped. But I remember. Yes, I felt I had a special feeling, not in the first race, but the first time I drove Formula 1 car. And that was in July 83, when I drove at Donington Park in England, a Williams car, a Williams Cosworth car, normally aspirate. And that was a special day in my life, because I remember very well the expectation of sitting in the car and driving it. It was a great day, and I remember very well. After that day, the next day I remember very well was my first win, and that was in 85, where in Portugal, the second race of season, I was on pole position for the first time, and I won the race in the wet, in the rain. That I remember also very well. In 84 already, first year of Formula 1 with Toleman, when we came here to Monte Carlo for the Grand Prix, I think in qualifying we had 10th or 13th place, nothing special. But then on the race day it rained, and already at the warm-up I was third or fourth, fastest. So I realized I had the possibility of doing well if it stays wet for the race in the afternoon. And it was true, it stays wet, and I start on 13th place, so I had to overtake many people, and in Monte Carlo it's very difficult. But by half a race distance, after 1 hour race distance, I was second already, and catching up quick, the leader. And I realized I had a chance to win. And I was just doing it, steadily and progressively coming closer and closer, with plenty of time to do it. And then they decided to stop the race. So it was a frustrating moment for me, because for the first time I had the opportunity to win a Grand Prix, and the director of the race stopped the race because of the wet conditions. But I always did well in the wet. Formula 1 or Formula Ford, Formula 3, I always had good results in the wet. Even when the car was not so good, I had a good result. So I guess there is something that gives me a little bit better feeling for the wet than other people. And that is an advantage that I have. At the beginning of go-karts, in go-karts, I remember second race I did in the wet was not good, was very bad. I couldn't drive well. So then what I did was going testing. For instance, I go testing today, the weather is good, and then mid-afternoon it starts raining. Instead of stopping, not testing, I carry on testing in the rain to learn about the rain and adjust the equipment and also learn myself, feeling and how driving technique and everything. And I think then I start to improve, and then I had good races also in go-kart in the wet, and carry on like this. But first or second time I drove in the wet was not a good result. Not the same, not precisely the same, because as the time goes by you learn and you get more experience, so you're supposed to improve. But if you look, for instance, 85, 86, I had always good results, qualifying especially. In the race, many problems, fuel consumption, not reliability, so difficult. 87, the car was not so quick, but still I was always first or second row in the grid. And results good because reliability very good. In 88, again, I had very good results in qualifying and racing. Best results ever. Qualifying still very good, like 85, 86, no difference. Even better. And racing better again because reliability and also a very quality car, engine car combination, fast and reliable, consistent. So I suppose I only improved. I have only improved from 85. I think I'm still very aggressive, not only in qualifying but also racing. But I have more experience in Formula One field, and that I think helped me make me better. But my wish to win and to be competitive is still as strong as it was in 85 or 84. It hasn't changed. Yeah, I think I had a special feeling in the Monaco race in 84, in the wet. I had some feeling, but not enough. Then I had again very good feeling, Portugal Grand Prix, 85, first win. Then I realized it was possible to win. There was no secret about it, and was just a question of making it right and having the right car, the right equipment. So I then fight very much to get the good car and good engine, everything. But it's difficult. Formula One is very difficult, as you know very well. And I think I only got it this year, the real chance to be competitive and to win the championship. So we'll see this year. In the middle of the season in 85, at the Canada Grand Prix, I had the opportunity of racing very strong with Keke Rosberg, with the Williams Honda. I was in the Lotus, he was in Williams Honda. And I realized on that race that something had changed radically in the Honda engine, because it will suddenly become not only very powerful, but good drivability and good fuel consumption. So I realized at that moment that the future was looking very strong for Honda. And I already start thinking in a way of being able to drive a Honda engine. And from that race on, Honda started to win. And successfully, one after the other. And so I was right in my thinking when I realized it was exactly the key moment, I believe, for Honda. And still I could not drive a Honda engine until the beginning '87. But I already, from Canada '85, start thinking and trying to find a way of getting associated with Honda to drive a Honda engine. It's not 100%. It's not 100% sure.
99%.
I think I am very close to achieve, but I cannot say yes for sure we will win. McLaren, Honda will win for sure. It's either Prost or myself now, but still not finished. And when you compete with somebody like Alain Prost, you never know because he's very strong. He's the best driver, I believe, in Formula One, and therefore you cannot underestimate any situation. You have just to carry on, work hard, and try your best right to the end. I realized that as we got into the straight, he was coming very quick because we had those back markers, and I realized he was coming quicker than me with the slipstream, and he also used overboost.
Yes.
And so because we are teammates, I could not close the door. Otherwise it would be easy to close the door, no problem. So I just tried to brake as late as I could to make it more difficult for him, the maneuver. And if it was difficult for me to brake that late, for him to brake even later than me would be nearly impossible, considering we have the same cars. So he tried the maneuver and he managed to brake late, but went a bit wide, as I did expect. So I had a quick change of direction, room to come back and take the lead. So it was a very close maneuver, a dangerous one. Risk one, but it was an exciting one. I believe in something. When we look technology and we look the man abilities and capabilities of developing machines, like computers. When many years ago, to have a computer you need a very big room, and today you need maybe a small table to put a computer. So the man is capable of creating and developing a machine to such an extent. The man is able to go to the moon, to create a machine and develop and use it, go to the moon. It takes time. And a lot of effort, and a lot of dedication. And I believe I have had the opportunity to develop myself in a competition, in a racing competition, motor racing competition, as I described earlier on, from 4 years old. So I had the opportunity of growing up with this inside of me. It's part of me. And I had the opportunity to do it for many years, for a long time, dedicate a lot of time, a lot of thinking, and a lot of experience. So that situation, Hungary situation, comes all quick in your mind, but you are already ahead on your thinking. You are already thinking on the next move. So at the beginning of the straight, I already knew that the end of the straight was a crucial point. And I already knew if such a situation comes, I would have to react quick and precise. So everything was already kind of clear in my mind well before and already programmed. It was just a question of doing it at the right time and at the right way. And that you can only achieve with time, dedication, and a lot of power, a lot of wish to be successful.
In that time, your mind is cool or cool?
It's very cool.
Very cool.
Yes, because I find as cool you can be, clear thinking you will have.
Yes.
It's difficult to keep cool because it's adrenaline going and competition and everything. But you also learn. You create it and you learn, develop, and then you perform. And that is also important. Sometimes you may need a little bit of aggression. It's a good combination between aggression, power, sheer power, and cool thinking. That will give you the best result.
Yeah.
But how to evaluate and judge all the ingredients and the percentage of those ingredients to make a good mixture is the difficult. Yeah.
So, for instance, physical condition, usually physical condition is very important.
Very important. It's a combination. I have been doing since '84 a program of physical training, and I do it most of it early in the season, between December and March, when we are not racing. We are only testing, so I have many time to spend in my program, physical condition program. And I am in Brazil. It's hot, summertime, so I can train in the heat, which is what you need, because when you drive the races, you're always in summertime. So I train in the heat, and I train my heart condition, my body muscle condition, just enough to have a good performance, not much, otherwise it's too much. But try to learn about my own abilities, my own limits, and use it in the best way, together with your mind, and a good balance, a good clear mind, everything, like I just described before. Yes, not so good, but it was, looking back, it was a very important moment in my career as a driver, because I had almost won the race. I did all weekend very good performance driving, very high performance, and suddenly when everything was easy, I missed. And just
So concentrate.
Yes,
Down.
exactly. My concentration went down, and I lost it, made a mistake and crashed. So that was like a switch in my mind, on and off. And I realized that I was not 100% correct in my mind at that stage in the championship. So I had to cool down and analyze the situations, the problems, my reactions, and try to understand many things which were affecting me Not only driving the race, but also qualifying, testing. So then I could understand several things, and I tried to correct and to readjust myself mentally to this year situation. So luckily that mistake came very early in the season.
Yes.
And I had the opportunity to stop for a moment and say, wait, there is something wrong. And this is wrong with me, not with anybody else, it's with me. And I have to understand, find out, understand, and react at the correct way to adjust myself. And so I was very fortunate, in a way, to have done that mistake.
So I have thought just concentration problem.
Yes,
I have thought, but you have thought some other reason?
Yeah, a reason for concentration going down. Not normal that concentration going down.
For instance, you think what reason?
It's too long to explain. I give you just a few points. I start this year in a new team.
Yes.
Very strong team, very powerful team. Great expectation, tension. I start working together with the twice world champion, Alain Prost. That for me is the best driver in Formula One. And I came from 86, 87, kind of frustrating time, where I try very hard and I dedicate a lot of my time, my power, and I didn't get as much success as I wish. And I came very tired, mentally and physically. So I recovered between end of last season, beginning this season, physically and mentally. But not fully. I was so tired that 3-4 months were not enough for me to rebuild myself physically and mentally, especially mentally. So I had to start race again. The championship starts, and I had no more time to continue that build up. So I stopped, and I just start my work, the races tests. And the reflect of this new environment that I face with the past experience gave me some difficulties. And these difficulties I could feel, but I was not reacting against it. I was just feeling, I was getting affected by it, but I was not reacting it. So then I failed. Then I had the opportunity to understand and realize that I was not reacting, and that was affecting me in my concentration. So then I changed, not only by myself, but I had the help of my family, and my sister is a psychologist. So just talking to her, she knows me so well, she could help me, and I did a mental work to get stronger, get as strong as I always been, because I was not as strong as I used to by that time of Monaco, mentally. So I could build up again that mental strength, and come closer to God. I'm Catholic, but never been intensive. And I realized I could come closer, and I did. And these two things together gave me the power and strength and clear mind to continue the championship, but with a clear mind. And since then, everything went better and better. If you look the results, I had Mexico after Monaco.
Yes.
It was a strong race, but a safe race for me. I drove it safely. Not aggressive, but not too aggressive. More on the safe side. It was the first taste of my power. I could feel I had the power, but it was not the time to use it still. It was the time just to build confidence. So I drove for a good result. It was the second place. And then next race, Montreal, and then Detroit. And Montreal, very aggressive, powerful, like always I've been. And I had a good result. It changed my approach to relationship with people. My approach to the relationship with the team members, press, my teammate, everything changed from my end, just for me, not for other people, just for me.
How?
It's difficult to describe, Mr. Sakurai. I just changed it because I realized the problem, and I changed it to protect myself, to avoid this problem. And it worked very well, and it's been very good since then. It's not the same for everybody. It's different from between people and people. With some people open, some people not so much. I just adopt the same attitude as other people adopt to me.
I see. So, very big experience for you.
Yes, very much. It's something that I know it happens, but I don't know how to explain how I develop it. It was just a natural feeling I had, and I developed naturally by feeling, and I don't know how to explain. I drive with the throttle control a little bit different. It is a harder way of driving. It's harder, it's more tension and more stress physically, because you have to be very sensitive all the time. You have to be always very close to your maximum concentration, and so it's very tiring. But it's something that I learned during the years, and it's how I know to drive. First of all, the championship is still not finished this year. And like I said, I am very close to it, closer than I ever been. Great possibility, but not finished. And I have to make it first. After I make it, then I will change my concentration for next year and the year after. But at the moment, although many people say and believe I have won, there's no problem, I don't. My approach is not that. My approach will not change until it's finished. It should remain like it is being after Monaco. It's difficult.
Difficult.
Yeah, I got married in '81 before coming to England, and I was married for 1 year. I was very young. I don't regret at all. It was a different experience in my life, and it was good. But then I had to make a decision, private decision, and I made a decision to split. And I got divorced, and I don't regret at all. It was an important experience in my life, and I'm sure in the future I will get married again and create a family and have a more normal life.
Even in driving.
Could be. I don't know. I don't have an answer yet, but it could be. No, I think I have two lives. One is my professional life, and the other is my private life. And my private life, I don't think anybody really knows, because this private life is based in Brazil, with my family, with my few close friends, and with my girlfriend. And because of Formula One, I don't have as much time as I would like to spend on that other life, which is Brazil. But the excitement I get from driving a racing car fast is so great that I need it. And I try to make a combination between the excitement I need on driving and all the other feelings I also enjoy, and I love taking life easy and relaxing back with my family in Brazil. I think it's possible, because nothing is impossible in this world.
What is necessary also?
It's like if you ask me what is necessary to be a world champion, I cannot give you that answer because I'm not world champion. Maybe in the future I could try to explain more specifically, but I don't think I can do it. I believe I am going up and I'm close to a great achievement. But even so, I think that's not the maximum.
Yes.
There is still potential to carry on, going up and up. And I don't know where is the maximum still. I know where I am and when I start, and I can still go up, but I don't know where is the maximum. On the other side, Formula One is it's a powerful game. For me particularly, it's where I get a great excitement by driving, not by being part of Formula One, but by driving. What I really love and I like to do, and that's the reason why I do Formula One, is the driving, excitement, the feeling of finding out the limits, going close to the limits, the feeling of the danger that is always consistent around us, and the challenge to win. That's basically what Formula One means to me. You have many other things, but they are all part of it. They are not fundamental. Which you can have the right ingredients to be not only a professional racing driver, but more than that, a successful racing driver, is your strength, your beliefs, your determination, to succeed. And of course, it comes from your mind activity. So it's a consistent battle to keep on going through all the challenges that you get inside and outside the racing circuit, inside and outside the racing environment. It's a consistent battle between yourself, with your own mind, always searching for a way of motivating yourself and a way of creating the right situation for you, which will bring out the very best in terms of performance. So it has been and it is still my biggest challenge, my own mind. A lot is requested and is expected from drivers and teams to perform in a professional manner at a high level, from the organizers, from the officials, from the governing bodies of motor racing. And drivers and teams do try very hard and do perform to a high level in order to have a good show for the public. On the other hand, my feeling is that the same does not apply to the authorities, where amongst those people there are some good people, of course, but the structure of it is not appropriate to the demands of the modern Formula One. I believe many improvements have been made in safety areas, in changing rules, but fundamentally the principles that are behind the decisions are not quite clear. And those situations only contribute to disputes and difficulties amongst particularly Formula One racing. So ideally it would be necessary for a more modern, professional approach to the modern Formula One. But of course this is something quite complicated, political, and I guess in all activities worldwide where competition is high, where the interests are great, there are never perfect organizations. The problems are always there. And it's only a question of doing the best you can with what you have. So I think that applies as well to Formula One. It seems, Sakurai, there are many things which are not right in our activity. At the end, from the beginning to the end, the people who make the show are the drivers. You have the teams, you have the cars, the team members, of course. But the people who really matter, who really put the risk in their health, in their lives. The people who really do the job in front of all world viewers are the drivers. And as I said earlier in the interview, we have to perform to a high level of professionalism and dedication, where we give everything we have, and people expect that we give everything we have. Whereby the other part of Formula One or motor racing, which is the organization, has such a situation where they just impose things, they just establish things the way they think is right, the way they feel is appropriate, without being so technical or professional or systematic, like you say. And this is something that unfortunately exists in Formula One. And as I said earlier, many people can understand, can see those things, and they are able to identify the difficulties and the problems. Some people cannot. So they just don't understand. They don't know why, but they just don't understand. And that, of course, is not contributing to the image of Formula One, is not contributing to the quality of the show that we make to the television viewers particularly. Nevertheless, I believe the natural instinct and the natural ability of drivers and their personalities are so big that they cover not only their own side, but they end up covering also the not so good things that are in Formula One, making as a whole thing a good show. So fortunately there is a excess of dedication and determination and desire to race in a natural way from drivers, which contributes and covers to the negative things that we have in our atmosphere, in our environment. I believe we have seen 3 different drivers winning in 3 different races, 3 different cars, 3 different engines. Of course, as we all know, although McLaren is no more dominant, no longer McLaren have got an advantage on the engine side like it used to be in the past. So there is no difference in equipment. The performance overall car engine between the 2 biggest teams are just the same. And even so, I think on all 3 races I was leading. I only had a clear run in Phoenix, so I had a good victory. In Brazil was a hard race, was looking good until I had a misunderstanding with Nakajima. And also in Imola was a short race for me. We had a wheel failure, which is unusual, but I was also leading, so as a result of it we had 3 different winners, which is good for the public and for the fight. But although I think this year will be very competitive between different cars, different drivers, I also believe that if I can keep up with the work in the right way with the team and develop the car and the engine. Particularly this year, the engine has some problems. If we can get those problems fixed, if we can improve the engine side as well the car side, I think I have again a good chance to victory, to success. But nevertheless, it's going to be very competitive. It's going to be the most competitive season in Formula One over the past 3 years. And this will bring a more light, a better light to the championship and to the public. I think last year I experienced a difficult time where the atmosphere of working was not positive or was not constructive due to the clash personalities inside the team. This year the equilibrium has been re-established in the team, and my motivation and my pleasure is coming up and up every race. So it is my natural feelings are coming back steadily.
That's good.
And that of course will contribute to take out the best of me during the competition times. So I'm looking forward to the championship. I'm looking forward to the races particularly, and I'm good mentally. I'm good physically. I feel I have a better motivation than a year ago, and I feel I have a great challenge ahead. Therefore, all we need is time. The cars have got their own characteristics, technically speaking, as well the engines. And the package between engine and car has to be put together in a way that provides you with the best performance. So perhaps if apparently the level of wing of one car is less than the other, as a final result you may find that that's not quite the case, because of body shape as well, under wing shape as well. So it's something that you only find out in the circuit, measuring top speeds, acceleration times and lap time. And I think in the past we used to have much more wing than other people, because we could afford, we had more power than other people. So if you have more power, you get quicker to the corners, and you need more downforce to cope, which contributes to your cornering speed as well. If we look today, we have, relatively to the past, a lot less wing. I think similar to other cars, maybe a little bit more still in some situations, but it's difficult really to be sure what is the same level.
Of course.
We only adjust ourselves to the same top speed basically, and then we see what lap times you can produce, how consistent you can be. But as I said, I think in the end, overall, chassis engine performance this year is just very level. Engine performance are different between Renault, Honda, 10-cylinder, and also V12 Ferrari. One engine has more bottom, the other more top end, the other more mid-range. But as a whole, as a result, all very similar performance, I think. Oh, we need very much, as soon as possible, to have a better performance from the engine. We now are very level with other people. In some situations I think we have more problem than some other people, which means we need desperately for improvements, both on the present 10-cylinder engine, but as well on the next engine, the 12-cylinder. Of course, is a new engine with new potential to be developed. The 10-cylinder has more limited development right now, and the 12-cylinder is going to be a more wide door to go through and to develop, to go further into the...
No, this year? Maybe.
We'll be testing it soon. In a month's time we should be testing in a car, but I don't know if we'll have the ability to race it. It will depend on the testing performance, on the results, both speed and reliability, to then see the possibilities of racing or not. Normally, you could say yes, but there are many things which are not clear at the moment, which could contribute to a change in my career. But as at this moment, there is no decision, no commitments in any direction other than try my best this year, right now, for the championship, and giving some time for some informations, some decisions to be made, both at McLaren, on the chassis side, on the engineering side, and also on the management side, and also on the Honda side, some decisions that are important as the future is concerned. So before I have those informations, as well some other informations from other options, other possibilities in different teams, there is no decision. I of course have experienced a great amount of success with McLaren Honda, many victories, many records, and a championship, and therefore it's an atmosphere which I love so much. But to me it's only important that we have the ingredients to win, or we fight at the right direction to win. If we don't have those ingredients, then I wouldn't be able to motivate my mind to do my job to my best ability. So I'm waiting to see how those things develop, and then hopefully we'll have the right decision. I don't know yet. I don't know what are the plans of Honda. That's what I'm waiting to hear. I know next year for sure they will be there, but I don't know about how it's going to be after that. It's difficult to say.
How do you feel about the engineering side of McLaren?
It needs improvement.
Good?
It's not bad, of course. The car is a reliable car, it's a high-performance car, but competition is pushing harder and harder, and is requiring every year a higher level of commitment on the engineering side, the higher level of innovation.
Innovation.
And that is something that McLaren has to improve in order to maintain success.
So you have some interest about Benetton team?
I think Benetton is a new setup. Is a new perspective in the future of Formula One. It's a major project that has been put together, a great investment with a great brain behind from John Barnard on the technical side. And at the same time, the challenge for those people to succeed is very high. So it is one of the possibilities in the future. I don't have dates, to be honest. I think I will, from now on, just experience year after year my feelings, my motivations, and my objectives, and make my plans this way. So I could race for many years still, as well I could race for only a few years in Formula One, and that is something that I believe I can keep open, keep completely open to in my life, in order that I can have the best situation every year. I think that's why I say that I think I can keep open my options now year after year, in order that I can understand and I can access better my own desires, my own instincts, my own objectives, as far as the future is concerned. And doing this way, I hope to innovate all the time my challenges. I believe if I'm able to put myself in this situation of innovation year after year, I can continue going up. And of course, if I can continuously go up year after year, the level of performance is going to be greater and greater year after year, which is in a way fascinating for me and is a great motivation for me. Yes, I believe I have experienced in many occasions feelings of being on the limits, being on the limits of the equipment, being on the limits of myself or of the circuit at a given moment, at a given place. And suddenly, because it was required to go a little bit further, I suddenly found myself finding a new limit for the machine or for myself, even if that was a limit that I didn't think was there. And as I have experienced that many occasions, not only one or two times, but many occasions, I now know that there is always room for improvement. Even when you think, or when you believe, or when your vision in a way tells you that this is the limit. Maybe what you see is not true. Maybe what you feel is not correct. And maybe what you smell is not correct as well. So you must keep an open mind to receive those informations, to receive more knowledge. You must keep an open ear to receive new information. That way, I think you can steadily improve the limits of man and machine. And that's what I believe. Yeah, I think as part of your life, we all have a common characteristic in the human side, which is as you experience good things in life, it's always difficult to stay without them. When you taste a good drink, when you taste good food, when you see a nice view, when you find a lovely woman, as a human nature, it's a lot more difficult to be without those things, to live without those things. And apart from my profession, my racing, which is most done outside my country, outside Brazil, most of the good things that I have experienced in my life are there, back in Brazil. So even if I have a nice apartment here in Monte Carlo, nice view, nice atmosphere, I have even nicer things back home, back in Brazil, to live with and to experience, to share, which of course are very attractive, very motivating for me. Therefore, that is where I like to be, as much as I can.
So, you have no plan to be married in the future?
No, I don't have. I think in general life, this is probably my biggest decision to make in the future, and as today there are no plans.
And that means you will not be married in driving Formula 1? Or
No, not actually. That is something that is unpredictable. It's a great decision, it's a big decision in my life. but it's something right now unpredictable. I just have no plans and I have no clear indications of it happening or not happening. I'm just taking it as the time goes by and waiting. I think as you grown up, as you experience life year after year, you change. And your wishes become clearer and clearer, more and more important. Your priorities as well. But as you are finding out new things about your own life, about yourself, you have to adjust your lifestyle to those new discoveries. And that happens with me, of course. So it's always pleasant to have your lovely woman near to you. Doesn't matter if you are relaxing or you working. I think there are moments that your mind is what determines what is good for you. Doesn't matter if you're working or not. If your mind at the same moment you're working requires a little bit of care and a little bit of love near to you, it's something that is in your nature and is your psychological and your body requirements in order that you can be more in equilibrium. If you are in equilibrium, you will be better overall. Yeah, it's a mixture of Italian, Brazilian and Spanish. Brazil is a big mixture of different countries. I think the biggest colony, Japanese colony outside Japan is in Brazil. Also a lot of Italians, Spanish, Portuguese, lots of people.
Very strong passion.
Yes, yes. Latin American style.
Sometimes dance or free.
Oh sure. Yeah, we like hot style of life. Yes, that's something that in Europe I miss a lot. Europe in the evenings, in the nights, most of it is very down, it's very cool. In Brazil we have good weather most of the year, warm country, so the tendency is for people go out to be on the road, bars and restaurants, sea, the beach, everything. So there is much more life in Brazil. It's a lot warmer way of life. And at the same time we have lots of space, so you can have privacy at the same moment that you can be with your friends on your own. And it's a great country to live. It can provide you with all the all the good things that you like to have in life. Of course, we have many problems, social problems, but as a natural environment, we have anything we want for a good life.
Now you go to church sometimes, or very often?
No, I don't go to church normally. I feel unusual to go to church when there are many people. Only when there are no people, then I feel happy to be in church, to be in peace. But I feel in peace with myself, and I have my beliefs. I have faith in God, and I believe I have found a good way of life through faith in God. There are many things that we don't understand. Like I said before, many things that you look and you think you understand what you see. As a matter of fact, what you see is not what you have. So, it depends on your capability of interpretation of your eyes, of your smell, of your ears, of your touch. And you can almost experience anything in life, depending on the creative ability you have, on your own natural feelings. I'm not sure that I fully understand, but I have tried, particularly over the past few years, to respect people's desires and wishes. And of course I try always to understand as much as I can what is happening, what's going on. But even when I don't understand, as long as I know the people, like I do Mr. Sakurai, I just respect their wishes and their desires on what they are aiming and what they are doing. So, in this case particularly, because of the understanding between us over years ago when he was at Honda at that period, the good relationship and respect. In this case particularly, I don't really need to understand. It's enough for me to know that he is doing it. He is working behind it. He's challenging it behind everything. That's enough for me. In order that I come here and we spend an hour or so together and talk together, and I give my point of views and discuss things. I have peace that it will be used in a positive and constructive way. Yeah, I think the experience I have had 2, 3, 4 years ago, when we work close together, has first of all demonstrated to me that he works very hard. He's committed to objective, to a plan, and he goes fully concentrated to it, and does whatever it takes to succeed. And that basically is a great quality. Of course, in the world that we live, in many occasions when you try to do something nice, something valuable, positive for the intellectual side, not the material side, you are misinterpreted, and you can be used by people as well. But after all, this is life, and as long you do what you feel is right, as long you do what you feel in peace, that is fine. I know one thing for sure. Whoever in the world, particularly in Japan, because I know I have lots of fans there, but whoever those people are, if they have found anything special through my activity, through the way I do it, and the way I speak, the way I act, the way I do things, if those people have been able to identify on myself something positive, something good, what they have done is to find exactly who I am, because I basically am a motor racing man, a sportsman, a man of big belief that if you believe on something, you can do it. And I am all the time exactly where I am inside. So those people who are my fans, they probably have captured what I am inside and not what I am superficially. And therefore, they will never find wrong. They will never be let down, because basically this is what I am, and it's not an image that has been created or painted as something and is something else. I am what I am. However, there was a natural thing on me that was, in a way, similar to Japanese mentality, which is commitment to a goal, to a dream. And so that was already there on me. So I just push hard that side of me because I like that side of me and I think it's very important for success. And I also realized it was similar to Japanese way. I think yourself and Koto-san represent a particular time of hunger, period of hunger. And after you comes Koto-san, and then after Koto-san, more younger people, which represent a different time of hunger. And even if the commitment was always there, and the wish and the will was there to do better, to do well, naturally the experience aspect always have some impact on some decisions, and therefore it was different. It was very difficult to motivate me to drive. I want to drive, I love driving, but at the same time, technically, I realized that it was almost impossible to compete, not to beat with it, but just to compete with them. So it was a difficult decision to drive again under the circumstances. My heart was always pushing me to drive. My reasoning telling me to be careful and to think careful. But my heart was telling me do it. And I was conflicting. And in the end, I decided to try to see what I would get as a feeling, as a result. And that happened in February at Silverstone when I first drove the new car. And I felt very strong inside, the will, the desire to drive and to do well, even under the difficulties, to overcome the difficulties, the technical difficulties. I had tremendous push inside to try to do it, knowing that it would be perhaps the hardest season of my whole career. I then decided that I had to try. I had to try for myself, for the team, and for my fans, for everybody. All the reasons, were telling me you must try. You may not succeed, but you must try. And perhaps, you can learn a lot more under the circumstances. And every result that you may achieve will be great result, even the technical disadvantage. So it was then a big challenge. I took it as a big challenge, perhaps the biggest one so far. After having won 3 championships, the biggest challenge I could aim, perhaps, was this type of situation. Thinking about winning. My mind was complete focus on being first, getting first place the quickest possible. When the start was about to happen, my mind was telling me, okay, you must try to be as far ahead you can the sooner you can, because I thought and I believe that the initial laps, the competition, people would be undecided about pace, how hard, how dangerous, how difficult, so they would be reluctant to go. And if I could be aggressive, particularly in the first laps, perhaps I could make a lot of ground, overtaking and also distance over everybody else. And that would give me a chance psychologically over everybody else, and also in the circuit some distance over everybody to play during the race. It was a mind game. Being wet becomes very slippery, very dangerous to lose car and go off. So in this condition, everybody was afraid of going too fast, too soon, to make a mistake. So it was an opportunity I had to go fast immediately, without mistaking. It was a gamble. If I mistake, I throw the race away. But it was a gamble to go fast immediately, being very much alert, so very much conscious of what I was doing. So I could do it precise to a very high level, maximum. Already, first corner, second corner, third corner, first lap, second lap, boom. And that gave me the strength mentally to commit myself to the challenge and overcome that challenge successfully. But in that situation, particularly, my mind was stronger than my body and machine. On the lights on, I was working 100% immediately. Mind and body, everything. Capacity. My capacity was 100%. I was not working 95 or 98 or 99. I was working 100% my capacity. Everything was programmed. Everything was programmed. Yeah, beforehand I already drove in the wet. That weekend I knew the circuit, I knew the car, I knew the conditions. So all the information I had it with me, and I knew that with all that information I had to then just focus and do something that I believe I could do. The wet, with the grip being low, visibility being low, you're never sure if you're going to succeed around the bend, around the corner. So you always have a feeling like, maybe not. Maybe I get through, maybe not. And to work on that situation, it's very demanding. Very demanding. Mind. Very demanding, because your mind is always telling you to slow down. Slow down, for careful, to be more safe. And you have to react to your own mind and say, no, try, okay. I know it's dangerous, I know I have to be careful, I know I have to slow down, but keep going, keep concentration, keep momentum, keep up speed, It's aggression. You have to be aggressive. Not naturally. You have to be aggressive with conscious, knowing what you're doing. Otherwise you make a mistake, you crash easily. You have to know it's a number of different things that together work good. You must have experience, you must have good feeling for car stability, you must have a good feeling for throttle control, brake control. You have to be very fine with all of your actions. Very, very smooth. You have to be. But at the same time, you have to be aggressive. It's a conflict. You have to be very smooth, but very aggressive. Aggressive because of the danger aspect and the feeling of unsafe. But very smooth to control technically the situation. You have to combine. I think to return to the past is not necessarily the solution. You cannot just go back to the past because the world is not safe. You have to find a solution for the moment and for the future. I want to find some other activities other than driving that can attract me, keep me busy, and therefore when I stop driving I have some activities which I like to be involved, I enjoy, and I can carry on my life because my main activity up to date has been always driving. And I'm still very young, and even if I stop driving in 5 years' time, or next year, I'm very young, and I can't just stop and do nothing. I must do some work, I must. We all need to be happy. Doesn't matter if we are Japanese or Brazilian or European or American or African or Chinese. People need to be happy. And people need to be healthy, happy, and people need people. People need love. So I think whatever you do for the future, as a single individual or as a group, as a nation, you need to consider not only your own happiness, your own health, your own needs for love, but also some other people's requirements, needs. And because the world is growing so much that even in different countries it's becoming more and more one single earth. Environment most of the time gets damaged by the development of technology, by the use of technology. On one hand, I think there are two types of technology. The positive development of technology, high technology, which helps humanity, and the negative one. And what needs to be decided and is exactly what is the good type of technology that helps our day-by-day life, also to preserve the nature, and what is the bad one, and stop the bad one. Find a way to stop those bad high technology work. So it's not an easy thing because the economy takes over, the economical facts take over many times decision making process, which become as a major consequence for the environment. And big companies with politicians and so on sometimes make bad decisions, and they have the power. And only when it's so clear that it's a bad thing that it gets reversed. Otherwise, goes underneath, people don't see now, and the consequence only comes up later. And it's too late. So that's the danger. That's the danger. The same moment you have to think about the future, you think about not only your own future but your family or your future children and so on. It's important to think about the future, to consider and try to work for a better future. That's very important. At the same time, you must live well with what you have got. Try to enjoy and be happy with what you have got. Because certain things are not in your control. And those things some of those things that are not in your control can be a major disaster without you having an influence. And many things are easy to speak of, talk about theories, and then on the practical, it's very difficult to use or to do. And you must try. You must try. And in any circumstance, you should try to do the best you can. Sometimes it's good, and it's good enough. Sometimes it's not good enough. Sometimes it's a mistake. But if you try faithfully and in an honest way to do good, that's what you can hope for. If Brazil could, for instance, be partners with Japan. I'm serious. Brazil could become partners in some way with Japan. Japan would have the solutions for one of their biggest problems, which is room, territory. And Brazil would have tremendous help from the culture, from the development level that Japan is, to develop our country better. Because Japan is a huge nation, big number of people, highly educated, and with technology, and financial power, economic power. If you use the experience of Japan as a nation to develop Brazil, which is still underdeveloped, huge country, and the experience that has been made in Japan all of those years, being implemented in my country, would make a fantastic place for living, for producing food, not only for my country, but for the rest of the world, and producing all the necessary things that all human being needs. I think now that Japanese people, after having damaged the nature in Japan so much, realize the damage that has been made and the mistakes that have been made, because they had the experience in Japan by doing the mistakes. And I think today there is enough high technology in a good way available to be used in a place that's still not really
a good heart.
Exactly. The experience aspect, the knowledge factor would help for it to be done right in a new country. Maybe that's just a dream. That is a dream. Say and express my concepts, my feelings, my experience, my doubts, my weakness, my strength, freely. And then it's down to the people to understand the good and the bad things about me, and think about it. Success and responsibilities that comes as a result of success, people's expectations from you sometimes are very heavy to cope and to handle. It is an easy thing to lose control of your own destiny, of your own way, to get confused or get pushed to a different way. And I think I believe that God helps. It's important to keep consistent way of life. It is a source of peace, power, equilibrium, strength, that cannot be found in anything else. It's the belief on what you're doing. And for you to believe strongly in what you're doing, you must be in peace. You must be in equilibrium. So you can feel good. If you feel good, you are stronger. If you're stronger, you challenge yourself. And all of that with a greater possibility of succeeding. The main difficulty is to understand sometimes why something happens not so good in our life. You know, if we lose a friend or a family member, hurts. And you feel, why it happened to me? Why? So we don't have the capability to understand. Our mind is too small. We cannot understand. And it takes a lot of strength to overcome those situations that we don't understand, that we feel bad, we feel sad, right? And sometime later, a year or 10 years, or that situation may come around and show you a little bit different. That was not such a good thing. That was perhaps a necessary thing. God is not a simple thing to understand and to accept. You either accept or you don't. Not everything can be understood or can be clear in our eyes. The dimension that we live, this is white, this is black, this is brown, this is red. That's the way we are used to see. That's the way we are used to function. And there are many things that you don't see. What is that? It's part of life. Because we don't see, we don't understand. Because we gotta see to understand, or we gotta touch, or we gotta smell. The different ways of sensing. But there are other ways which we are not competent, or we don't have enough knowledge to feel or to understand.